So we are going to pull out some insights from this aspect of manifesting the light of true sonship. That is the purpose. That is the purpose of this year. And we want to thank God for the direction that he has given to us. So the last 2 years of 2020 and 2021 were seasons of unprecedented deaths and distresses. Gross darkness was so prevalent that only the light of life enabled people to overcome deep distresses, exceeding sinfulness, and wilderness wanderings in the midst of trials and tribulations. The light of life that delivered some people out of darkness in 2021 will be manifested in greater dimensions in 2022. So in the midst of gross darkness, it is God's desire for there to be the manifestation of light in a greater way in 2022. So can you see why God has us staying in this whole aspect of light? Wow. Gross darkness, Dr. Ogan says, will not suddenly disappear. In fact, it might even increase. Nevertheless, Proverbs 4:18 tells us that the path of the just in the midst of darkness will be like a shining light that shines more and more into the perfect day. So as iniquity abounds, so will grace much more abound. Darkness will be reproved by the manifestation of light, which will be magnified in various ways. We had mentioned the light of revelation yesterday. And there are 9 ways in which lights can be manifested. So we have the light of revelation. We have the light of new ideas. We have the light of illumination, the light of creativity, the light of innovation, the light of breakthroughs, the light of knowledge, the light of understanding, and the light of wisdom. So I just quickly mention those again. The light of revelation. Revelation comes and light is shed abroad in our hearts, in our lives. The light of new ideas. The light of illumination. The light of creativity. God is a God of creativity. So even in the solutions that he will provide through us, through this global transformation agenda, it is to shed light in our communities through the solutions. God says he's going to take us to a place of solution and a place of discovery. It is that light will be shed abroad through us. The light of innovation. He says he's going to take us to a place of innovation. The light of breakthrough. The light of knowledge. The light of understanding. And the light of wisdom. We thank God for this illumination that he's given to us even today. So Daniel 12 verse 4 tells us, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. We are seeing that. The frantic pace for the quest of knowledge and for knowledge, when directed specifically to the knowledge of God, will raise a company of strong men who will do extraordinary exploits. In the midst of satanic corruption and Luciferian flattery towards those who do wickedly against the covenant of life and peace, will arise a people who know their God experientially and who shall be strong and do exploits. The hidden mysteries of darkness shall be exposed by the brilliant and bountiful outpouring of the light of life from the throne room of the Father of lights, according to Ephesians 5:13, which says, but everything exposed by the light becomes visible. For everything that is illuminated becomes a light itself. This simply means that evil intentions will be exposed when light shines on them. So the twin concepts of light and sonship that are associated with the number 22 will be manifested in this year, 2022. So I want to quickly mention 12 fruits as a result of us manifesting the light, as a result of us being the gateway of light. There's fruit that will be evidence in our lives. There's evidence. We will see the evidence. And what is this evidence? So the first type of fruit that we will see in our lives as a result of manifesting this light, bearing this light, being light bearers. The first one is innovative fruits. Innovative fruits. And these represent new dimensions of being a blessing. God says he's going to take us to the land of innovation. God is a God of creativity. Everything that we've seen created has come from him. He has not stopped being creative. We are not short of creative ideas. We're not short of that because God, whose source is our El Shaddai, he's our all-sufficient one. And so this innovative fruit, it represents new dimensions of being a blessing. Isaiah 42 verse 9 says, behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. We are the company. We are the company of whom these new things will be told to, so that we can go out and be that blessing by being innovative fruits. We also are called to be durable fruits, to bear durable fruits. These are fruits that last. They are generational in nature. You know, so many times we focus on this whole aspect of generational curses and the things that come through our bloodline that are negative. But listen, we can begin by our light today, by our actions today, to ensure that we bear fruit that remains, that will be generational, that will go through our line or generational line. And they will speak of generational blessing from one generation to the next, blessing after blessing after blessing, because of the fruit that is being wrought in your life. John 15:16 says, you did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit. And the word of God says much fruit. It's not just bearing just fruit, it's much fruit. God is interested in much fruit coming through our lives, and that our fruit should remain. That whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give it to you. A lot of times we isolate this verse. Whatever we ask the Father in his name, he will give it to us. It's not just about asking God for things in his name. It's someone who's bearing fruit. It's someone who's going out and bearing innovative fruit, durable fruit. That Son of God will, whatever you ask the Father, you're bearing fruit and he's pleased with that fruit. Whatever you ask the Father in his name, he will give it to you. That's the kind of sonship, the benefit of sonship that we are to experience. So there's innovative fruit. There is durable fruit. Thirdly, there's seasonal fruit. These are the fruits that one may not be able to produce after a given time. And this is so critical. And this is why being obedient to the prompt of the Spirit is so good, which is why we say, whenever the Lord drops, downloads, gives you a project, an idea to run with it immediately. Because Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. I am sure some of you may have experienced someone saying to you, oh, just come visit me. I have something that I will give you, whether for a project you have or for your family, but I have something for you. Just come by my workplace and collect it. And you delay, and you delay, you delay, you delay. And finally, 3 months later, 4 months later, you bounce up the person and say, oh, you know, I was supposed to come and visit you to get that, what you had for me. And the person says to you, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't give it to you again. Things have changed. My situation has changed, or something came up, or I had to use it for something else. I'm sure you've had that experience before. Why did that happen? Because we did not lay hold of the season that we were in. And which is why it is dangerous for us to have the sin of assumption, presumption. David speaks about that in Psalm 19. Deliver us from presumptuous sins. We presume that we're going to have tomorrow. We presume we're going to have next week. We presume that whatever resources God has laid up for us today is going to be there next week or next year. And so we delay. May the Lord deliver us from procrastination, because procrastination is a thief. It's a thief. It's a strategy that the enemy uses as a part of his purpose, John 10:10, to steal, to kill, and to destroy. So whatever you have been procrastinating, whatever thing you have been delaying to do, ask the Lord to deliver you from the spirit of procrastination, because it is the thief of time. It steals the things that you ought to do, and in the doing of those things are the blessings. So we need to ensure that the fruit that we need to bear that may be seasonal, we will not lose out on that. There's some things that the Lord intended for us to fulfill, and those seasons have closed. We ask for mercy that should it be his will that these seasons reopen, that we do not miss his appearing again. All right. So innovative fruits, durable fruits, seasonal fruits, and 4, abundant fruit. Abundant fruit. These are fruits produced in great quantity or size. And when it is the Lord, when it's just out of your control, there's nothing that you did. It just multiplied. It's just like, wow, God, look what you did. The church of the upper room in Acts 1:15 numbered 120 people. 120. And after Peter gave his first sermon, which was gladly received, the same day there were added unto them about 3,000 souls. So they went from 120 to 3,120. It is important that we lift up the Lord. It's not about us. It's not about our qualifications. It's not about our experience, what we have done. Every time we have to come into the presence of God naked and ask God, Lord, I have not been this way before. Guide me by your spirit. Guide me, show me, teach me. Because the fruit that will come as a result of our leaning on him, there will be abundance. There will be abundance. Furthermore, in Acts 4 and verse 4, many more people were added to the church, and the number of men was about 5,000. Not the number of people, the number of men, 5,000. This is nothing but galloping progress, fruitfulness with exceeding multiplication. That is who God is. God is a God of multiplication. And that is what he wants for us, his children, as we manifest this light that we have been dealing with. This is why it is important that we do not cover our light, because he wants the world to see him through this light. So there's also multidimensional fruit. Multidimensional fruit. These fruits come in different varieties. They are spiritual, they are financial, and they are material in nature. The Lord said in Isaiah 54, verses 2-3, he said, enlarge the place of your tents and let them stretch out the curtains of your dwellings. Do not spare, for you shall expand on every side. You shall expand to the right, you shall expand to the left, and your descendants will inherit the nations and make the desolate cities inhabited. This is the God that we're serving. This is the God who wants to bless us. This is the God who wants us to bear fruit for the glory of his name. We also have number 6, qualitative fruits. These fruits are the product of excellence. These fruits are the product of excellence. Philippians 1:10, that you may approve the things that are excellent, that you may be sincere and without offense until the day of Christ. Qualitative fruits. What we do for Christ must be at a high standard. We must set a template for the world to come up to. We must not be mediocre in what we do. We must not be mediocre in the things that we present and the way we present what we do. We must have a high standard of excellence because we are representing our excellent Christ. So there's also edible fruits. Edible fruits. These are not just for aesthetics. They are safe to eat and suitable for human consumption. Matthew 21, verses 18 to 19. Jesus was hungry, and seeing a fig tree by the road, he came to it and found nothing but leaves, nothing on it but leaves. And he said to it, let no fruit grow on you ever again. And immediately the fig tree withered away. There must be edible fruits. There must also be spiritual fruit. This is the fruit of the Spirit, Galatians 5:22 to 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law. There must also be consistent fruit. These are not just seasonal, but regularly produced daily or monthly in and through our lives. So there's a place for seasonal fruits, fruit that comes in its season, but there's also a place for daily and monthly, the bearing of this fruit through our lives. Revelation 22, verses 1 to 3 says, and he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding from the throne of God and of the Lamb. In the middle of its street, and on either side of the river was a tree of life, which bore 12 fruits, each tree yielding its fruit every month. God is a God of fruitfulness. There is no lack with God. God is a God of multiplication. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of nations. So not just the fruit, but the leaf of the tree had value. There shall be no more curse, but the throne of God and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. So we must be consistent bearers of fruit. Our lives, there must be fruit that is seen, that is evident in our lives. Number 10, first fruits. First fruits. These fruits are the mark of your willingness to honor God whenever there is an increase in your life. Proverbs 3:9. Honor the Lord with your possessions and with the first fruits of all your increase. 11, the fruits of the womb. These are the gracious gifts of children to every woman as a receptacle of conception and incubation. Psalm 127:3 says, behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is his reward. And 12, the fruits of righteousness. These are spiritual fruits manifested by those who are not just in right standing with God, but are willing to do what is right. Philippians 1:11 says, being filled with the fruits of righteousness, which are by Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God. And Proverbs 11:30, the fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he who wins souls is wise. So this is an understanding of what to do in this year, 2022. It is by the light of knowledge, understanding, and wisdom that sons can manifest as redemptive light bearers. And so we have to ensure that as children of light, this is the evidence, this is the fruit. So the fruits that we looked at today, this is what is born in sons, born in this season of light and sonship. There's a twin there's a twin concept of light and sonship for this year, 2022. And so the fruit that we looked at, this must be evident in your lives as we continue to declare that I am the light of the world. So when you continue to say, I am the light of the world, a city on a hill that shall not be hidden, this is the result. Is my life producing innovative fruit? Is my life producing durable fruit, abundant fruit, qualitative fruit, spiritual fruit, consistent fruit? Is there consistent fruit in my life? These are the evidences that we are actually bearing the fruit that we ought to bear. Tomorrow, we are going to be looking at the functions of redemptive light. We looked at the whole matter of redemption yesterday, and so we want to zero in tomorrow on the functions of redemptive light. And so that will be our focus tomorrow. So we want to pray. We want to pray. And our prayer today is going to be focused specifically in this whole matter of light. And we want to pray for all the 7 spheres of influence. So I will be asking for persons from the various spheres of influence to pray. And so our first prayer point today is, we will command light to shine out of darkness into men's hearts. 2 Corinthians 4 verse 6, that's the verse that we're praying into. For it is the God who commanded light to shine out of darkness, who has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. So we want representatives from every sphere to pray specifically, to command light to shine out of the darkness into the hearts of men on the sphere of arts, sports and culture, the sphere of belief system, the sphere of economy, the sphere of education, family, government, media, because for every sphere, there will be a different emphasis or focus. And so let us just join our hearts together in prayer as we pray concerning these spheres of influence.